Hi, good evening, and welcome to much anticipated Nav Live session. Trevor Smith, and I'm just here to invite you to draw up your chair like I have to listen as Brother Andre Adequacy presents on the road of cognitive dissonance in our lives and living. I've been exposed to cognitive dissonance, and I'm telling you, I'm at the edge of my seat because it's an exciting topic. However, uh, the Navigating Life series is brought to you as an outreach program of the St. Andrew Church of Christ. We have been doing this for a long time. We started pre-COVID at our 77 Redditch Road location on a Saturday afternoon, evening, and we have been going on since then. And we just want to invite you to participate with us, join us if possible. We worship at 77 Redditch Road on a Sunday morning. We start at 9 a.m. And immediately after worship, we have a series of Bible classes for different ages. And I just want to share what's happening with our Bible classes at this point in time. On a Sunday, we're dealing with heart of a Christian. These are issues that Christians might have, selfishness or unforgiveness. So we're dealing with that on a Sunday. And on a Tuesday, using this very same link at 6:30, Brother Tennant is going through a series, Fully Alive in 2025. Interesting stuff. So, the Navigating Life series are recorded. I want to mention that because we also have a grief therapy session on the last Saturday in every month. The Navigating Life is on the first Saturday. The last Saturday is our grief therapy. We do not record the grief therapy because we want people to be able to share, in their particular state. The Nav Life series and other media or Bible classes, etc., are available on YouTube, Simply Christians, whether it's Simply Christians JA, or on Facebook. So you can actually access the recordings there. And again, we invite you to share with us. But without further ado, I just want to quickly share. This slide is a little old, so it's a lot more now than 35 years. But I just want to say that Brother Andre Allen Casey is a counseling psychologist, in-demand counseling psychologist. In his work, he integrates his faith. So I leave it at that. And I'm going to just ask, if you don't mind, if you would just bow with me with a word of prayer. Almighty God, we want to thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to share. We just pray, Lord God, that as Brother Andre guides us in another approach, another method, other ways in which we can navigate life's challenges, that we will be attentive, that whatever is shared and discussed will be aligned to your will for our lives. We pray all of this in Jesus' name. Amen. And we turn right over to Brother Andre Allen Casey.
Thank you so very much, sir, for this, for the introduction. Let me go ahead and see if I can share my slides here. Yes. Okay, excellent, good stuff. Um, so now, today we want to look at the role of cognitive dissonance, uh, especially as it relates to our lives and living. And, uh, and I hope the picture already give us an idea. I hope you can hear me loud and clear, by the way. Gives us an idea already about what cognitive dissonance could look like. Um, you know, oftentimes we have an image of ourselves, or we see ourselves a particular way, but everything about our actions is different from how um, from what we not only share with other people, but even sometimes what we believe about who we should be. But again, to the extent that even when persons find out that from time to time, we have stolen or we're a crook, you know, we would say, "But I can't believe it. Not him, not her." And why? Because everything else about what we do definitely demonstrate to others, to a lot of folks, even sometimes to ourselves, that this is the person who I am. When in truth and in fact, our actions is just not lining up with what we believe about ourselves. And so, literally, in a nutcase, um, that is what cognitive dissonance really, really speaks to. Um, the inconsistencies about who we believe we should be, and yet our actions really, again, doesn't line up with it. So, um, cognitive dissonance, just again, just to share from this picture here, and I'm going to be inviting folks, by the way, to talk back to me, but I will cue you when I want that conversation to take place. But killing animals is wrong. That's a belief system. You really, really believe that. But you also believe that, but I love steak. And since I love steak, what am I going to do? And so too many times, the what am I going to do um, overtakes overtakes this idea that killing animals, or killing an animal is wrong. Because I love steak, then I'm going to rationalize why I love steak. I just can't give up my steak. That, ladies and gentlemen, by and large, speaks to this psychological phenomenon that is called cognitive dissonance. It is two contradictory beliefs that we hold at the same time. In other words, it is the discomfort a person feels when their behavior does not align with their values or their beliefs. And so, as the saying goes, we talk the talk, but we don't plan on walking the walk. And the key term here, folks, is the word plan. We really don't plan on doing it. Well, I am saying that there is a strong um, possibility that we are suffering from cognitive dissonance. Now, it's like I said, it's a psychological phenomenon, which is not a psychological profile or a psychological disorder. So let me put that out there from the get-go. Um, so again, we write checks with our mouth that we don't plan, that we know our bodies will not cash. We talk it well, we preach it, but don't plan to live it. Literally, don't plan to live it. So that, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, speaks to cognitive dissonance. What are some examples of this and possible solutions? Well, people's, liars are bad people, but I just lied. Now, here's the big question. Do I plan on stop lying? Do I plan on stop lying? And so one way to measure if we suffer from that is to ask us that very important question. Do I plan on stop lying? And if I'm ready to give excuses or to give or to create what is called situational ethics to justify my lying, then chances are I am suffering from that from CD, cognitive dissonance. Okay. The minute I start to say yes, but is that yes, but right? So right and wrong is not black and white. No, right and wrong must have a context attached to it to regulate whether or not I do it. Matter of fact, so I might say, but remember, no, but I am the one that is that has created or subjected myself to what that right and wrong is. It's not somebody imposed it on me. It's my belief. It's I am the one that says I don't believe that is right. I say, okay then. Now, what does that mean? What must that now look like since we just say I don't believe that is right? In my line of work, I see a lot of this. I'm not laughing, but I'm laughing. I'm not really laughing, but I'm just saying I see a lot of this in my line of work. Where listen, we call it out. This is what I'm going to do, and I believe in this and everything. But then the actions that now must support that belief system, very, very, it is seem to be a difficulty. And it's not just the difficulty in kind of the actions. That's not even what can be a little bit troublesome in my head, but it is the rationalization. It is the other framing. This is you want to call it then reframing, another framing as to why I'm not going to do it. No, that is, the rationalization in as to why I am going to take this action, although I know this is the right thing for me to do. And believe it. And then you see, I'm going to get myself fired now. And then come to me. And I'm saying, folks, really, if we say it and believe it and we have actions to support it, chances are you put me out of a job. Yeah. So maybe this is the last time I'm going to see you all. That's supposed to be a joke. But anyways, let's move on. Take for example, so we're still talking about some examples, all right? So smoking. And this is now, I'm going to ask somebody to come on. So I'm going to talk about the conflict. I'm going to also speak to, so the conflict is there. As a matter of fact, if somebody can come on and read it out for me right now, that's great. But the same person who reads it, you're going to also give me a solution. Yes, a lot of pressure, right? Yeah. So the same person who comes and read now, you can give a solution, or somebody can come on and help them with the solution. So will somebody who can come on and read the summary, please? That's how much folks I have on. 17. Yeah, man, somebody can come on.
Conflict. Many people smoke even though they know it is harmful to their health. The magnitude of the dissonance will be higher in people who highly value their health.
Very, very good. That's the conflict. Okay, well, is it not? That's not the, well, now, here is the dissonance now. Go ahead.
A person may dislike the physical side effects of smoking, but feel the act of smoking is relaxing and helps in other ways, such as alleviating their stress.
Very, very good. Now, what we're saying here is, see, that's it. Smoking is one of those things. And we're going to come up with some others. So can you imagine? They recognize that, hey, they know it is harmful to their health. That's a no-brainer. But they are the same one that's about to say, whenever I feel stress, I smoke and it calm me down. So what do you think I must say to that person? What kind of well, I'm going to use this word now. What kind of, in which we don't do that in counseling, by the way, but I'm going to use that word today. What kind of advice do I say to this person? Anybody? No, anybody can talk. What do I say to them?
Well, I guess you could suggest, but I guess counselors don't advise, but suggest counseling as well, because you can have a conversation and find out, I mean, what's really going on, why is it that they resort to smoking, and ask them to get, and suggest to get counseling. And then you have different things that helps with that, like you have different patches, and they probably could take different things that would kind of distract them, which wouldn't be an overnight thing, different things. I don't know if you have some kind of gum or something to help them with that smoking habits. Think to that effect.
Okay, excellent. Good stuff so far. Go ahead, Aldith. I see you raise your hand.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Perhaps you could find out from them if there are other stress relieving activities that they could employ that would not have the same adverse effect as smoking, but would provide them with some relief to their stress after you find out what is causing the stress.
Excellent. Excellent. Wow. Very, very good. So you see what is happening today already? Today we are already given some possible solutions. We did say possible. So I love the counseling thing. I love what could cause them, why they would resort to it, and even as a result of the challenge that they're having, how they could bring a resolution to the dissonance. Go ahead, Adeline.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Perhaps you could ask them to look at the pros and cons of the smoking and the not smoking, and ask them to weigh.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ask them to. And then just ask them to weigh the pros against the cons and see which one is more beneficial for them.
Right. You see, it's just that you say it's not that they don't know it, you know. It's the excuse they use. So they know that they're playing with fire, if you understand what I'm saying, Adelie. In other words, they are saying also that, listen, yeah, I know. I remember, you know, they agree that it is wrong, you know. They agree that it not gonna help them. They agree that, listen, doctor said if them smoke one more joint or one more cigarette, listen to me, man, that's it. But because they find that smoking, there is another thing that they're struggling with. What is that? Hey, you know something? Look at what smoking will do for me whenever I'm stressed out. So when I smoke one, I feel better because normally I smoke 200. So you know something? Although doctors say I mustn't smoke not even one more, at least I'm not going to smoke 200 more. So they are going to be having that rationale. And so what can we say to them to at least help them to feel like, okay, let me look for an alternative that can reduce the appetite to smoke in the first place. Good, great, excellent responses. We're going to go to another one. We're going to come to a harder one. This one is good. Let's look at, well, this one is a light one. This one is kind of simple. Well, is it? Let me get another reader. If not, I will take the person that read from it earlier.
All right, conflict. A male might believe in the equality of the sexes, but then consciously or unconsciously expect their female partner to do most of the household labor or parenting. That's funny.
Yeah, but it's true. True or false?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Very, very good. Yes, Sherry. That is that. A matter of fact, in our culture, that's what happens. Like, whoa, and this is from the male to the female. I'm not saying they are correct. I'm only telling you what happens. Now, here is the dissonance. Go ahead.
All right. So cognitive dissonance. The person may notice their partner is contributing more to the household chores and feel guilty. However, they may try to rationalize their actions by thinking that the chores are not that hard and that they had a challenging day at work. And I'll add to that because me a man and a female to do that.
Okay. Okay. Well, that would be the conflict in the first part. But of course, they may not come out, and some of them may not come out and say that. But this is what they believe, though. So even if they believe that they want to help or should help, the idea is that, listen, come on, me work hard, especially if I am bringing in the lion's share of as far as um, financing this household, or believe that I'm working harder than anybody else in this household, or just kind of think that, as the conflict states, housework is nothing compared to what I do to provide for this family. So that herein lies the challenge. Yes, they have the what is it? It is the rationalization that says that their action, thinking that the chores are not that hard and that they had a challenging day at work. What would you say to this person? Anybody?
Andre, it's more what I would do with that person rather than say. I'm thinking all you need to do is just go visit a family relative and leave them in the house and see how easy it is for them to keep it clean.
Okay, that's one way. That's one way to. Anything else?
Well, I guess look for myself in the position if I am the partner of this person.
And by the way, it could be male or female. It could be the male. It could be male or female. But I'm just saying, traditionally, you find that the male speaks this way in our culture. I'm just saying traditionally. But go ahead. What do you say to this person to help them to overcome CD or manage it?
I guess both parties should be able to do it. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, they can work with their partner to divide the household chores fairly. That could be an option to say, okay, then I tell you what. I will cook and you wash up. Or I will do the bathroom, you do the bedroom. See it? So rather than one person trying to do everything, then you have both persons. But I'm just putting that out there. But I wanted to hear also from anybody else who think that they have something else that they would love to share. Okay. All right, I'm going to go to another one here. Eating comfort food. Here is the conflict. Go ahead. Let me get another reader, if not same readers.
I know that eating comfort food is an unhealthy choice if I want to maintain my health. I think a lot of us know that one. Although I know that eating such food is not good for me, it's still enjoyable and makes me feel better in the moment.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you tell yourself?
Well, for me, I have to find healthy recipes that can taste just as nice.
Excellent. Excellent. There you go. Very, very good. You know, I should have some giveaways, you know. But excellent. Very, very good. Anybody else have anything else they would like to add to this? Okay, I'll go on to something else. Justifying cognitive dissonance. Let's start with this one here, or a couple of these three. I know it is wrong to overthink and worry, but I can't just sit down and don't do anything. Let me get different persons commenting on these. Just comment, any comment, whether you agree, disagree, yeah, no, what? Especially this one here, the overthink. Wow. Or maybe you can talk to me about what are the different excuses we use to continue to overthink. Well, that would be interesting. But please, somebody, go ahead.
All right, so I'll talk on the overthink. What say? I know it is wrong to overthink and worry, but I can't just sit down and do it. But sometimes depend on the situation, you know, and sometimes you just can't help it. There are times like I'm having a situation right now, and honestly, I didn't my overthink, but up to this morning, I didn't get as much sleep as I should have gotten because I woke up with it on my mind, you know, and I'm trying to figure out how can I deal with this. So sometimes for me, overthinking also helps me to feel me probably can find some solution or talk with somebody.
Yeah, but overthink. But isn't that a different word than overthink, though? If you find a solution.
All right, let's talk about the solution then. So I guess for this, we're not supposed to have a solution. You know, sometimes
No, I guess no. Please stop,
investigating.
Sherry. Guess what, Sherry? When you didn't sleep, and you know, and you were overthinking and everything like that.
Yeah.
Did the overthink make the situation better?
No, it
It
didn't.
didn't. You know.
But at this point, nothing to overthink that. But okay, just step on my mind. No. But maybe I'll use that for an example, as I do sometimes with some things. But because that is that's a present situation, that's the one that came to my mind.
Yeah. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, I think 99.99999% of us are guilty of this one here. We just not we're operating the moment. The idea of just saying, you know, something, I don't know what to do at this point in time. So you know what? I am going to distract myself and do something differently. Hopefully something will come up.
Yeah.
You know, we don't think like that. Or you know, we don't think like that. We believe that we have to stay in it until something come up, even if nothing is coming up. We have to stay there, and for those who stay there for days and weeks and months until something come up, you know, as far as they're concerned, it's a good thing I stayed here. But look at what it did to you for the weeks and the months. You know, just saying. Look at what it created another problem. You know, like paranoia and anxiety. You know, because really and truly, and sometimes have you making assumptions and you know, when without the facts, and drawing conclusions without the facts. This is what I mean when I use the word overthink. You know, it's more than what you have in front of you. Then you start to say, then we start to say things like, you know, I bet you this is gonna happen. I must this also, and we just think the worst, and the worst just continue to grow, and then when it reaches its full bloom, then of course, woe is me, and not only woe is me, then it look like nothing not going to work out for me, and might as well I do this to myself, and all those things, because we carry it to some places that really and truly we should not have done so. You know, but especially for those who took it there, and something happened. And by the way, the overthinking is what bring about the solution. It's not even the overthinking but about the solution. In other words, whether they overthink, and pardon me for using this word, or underthink, the solution came. But they are going to find comfort in their overthinking, and of such continue to do the same. Okay, good stuff. Next. I know it's wrong to cheat, but cheat on my spouse, but he or she's cheating too. We're talking about justifying cognitive dissonance. In other words, rationalizing why we are not going to make the adjustments so that our actions are congruent with our beliefs. That is the context of our conversation just now. It's wrong. Cheat on my spouse, but he or she's cheating too. Any comments on that?
So
Come on, this one is an easy one. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
When we're in this situation, that might be the go-to thought. But in general, we shouldn't allow what other persons do to cause us to do things that we wouldn't or shouldn't do.
Yeah.
I would
Anybody
say,
else? Excellent. Go ahead, continue. Don't let me stop you. Go ahead.
I would say sometimes it's a projection. So because I'm I'm cheating, to make me feel more comfortable in the wrong, you just accuse the other person of cheating too.
Okay. Any more comments? I know I'm cheating on my spouse, but he or she's cheating too. Here is the justification, the rationalization. To go ahead and cheat. Why? A person's bad behavior is going to dictate my response. So, any further comments on this one? He or she's cheating too. What you want to do? You think me an idiot? Just sit down and take it so?
Two wrong don't make a right.
Two wrong don't make a right. That is how we're going to change the justification. Excellent. And maybe I should ask that question. How do we change this how do we change from feeling victimized to becoming victorious? Tell them to stop.
Maybe ask them to examine their own value system independent of the other person.
Excellent. Excellent. So you can have a conversation with them. But suppose they don't care.
You can decide to do better, really. You just don't have to put up with it. You can just decide that, put in some kind of boundary where you're not, you know, protect your, I don't know, your heart or your something. But you don't have to sink as low to, you don't have to do back, because that doesn't help, especially if you're not the cheating kind anyways, you know. So you're going to do more damage to yourself. So doing cheating as well is just not the answer.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, I know it is wrong to tell lies, Let me see if we're going to, let me see who's going to speak on this one here now. But you cannot always tell the truth. It will get you into trouble. Remember, we're looking at the justification of cognitive dissonance.
Well, you can say just a little white lie, you know, not terribly wrong. It was, you know, to benefit everybody all concerned. So it's not really totally wrong. You were just trying to help.
So question, stay with me, Carolyn. So stay with me, watch this. So question, with that kind of thought process, do you, then how do you still accept that it is wrong to tell lies? So maybe you should change it and say, it is wrong to tell some lies. As long as this is not overtly damaging to you or the other person.
Right.
Do you see how we start to fix it up now?
Yes.
And start to rationalize what lie must look like. And it's not so bad after all. Me tell lie now, but me not lie like you. When you lie, people really get hurt. When I lie, people can overcome that pain. See how we rationalize things. And the
Or
question,
it's just a little joke Mo was making.
a little joke I was making. Excellent.
Oh, you're so thin skin.
Oh. Very much so. Very much so. Okay, let me go to another batch here. Sorry, go ahead.
Or the man, but we never have no choice.
That's the point. Boy, it's a better if me lie because it's a woman never lie. You see what would happen to you if me never lie? You see what happened to this world? You see what happened to this nation? You see what happened to this country? You see what happened to this family? Somebody come in and say, and the man is inside this house. And if I find a man inside here, he's going to die. And you have 3 inside here. So you say, no man not inside here. Somebody might some lawyers might have a different word to think that and say that is not entirely a lie. But you know, I'm not even going to try and do any rationalization here. It's still a lie. Even if you believe that lie was warranted. I'm just saying.
But Andre, another justification is why I'm just gonna ask for forgiveness and me finish.
Oh wow! Why I tell you. No, that is a slap in God's face. You know. So well, yeah, God will forgive me. So, you know, so somebody might call that premeditated.
That's a real justification.
That's right. That's right. Justifying cognitive dissonance. Interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. What about the case where, you know, somebody will say, well, I'm justifying this because I'm doing it to protect somebody else. I'm just thinking of the biblical character, Rahab, who told a lie to protect those, you know, those men who had come to spy. And in the long run, you know, she was eventually protected, she and her family, you know, from destruction and all of that. I'm just thinking of her, you know, as somebody who lied, and yet she was named later on in the New Testament, you know, in the Hebrew 11 as a woman of faith.
Yeah. Was the lie the faith?
Well, I suppose so.
So we can look at that a little bit more in depth. See what the faith was, or was it the lie? But good example.
Well, good, I mean, example. It was still a lie.
Right? It was still. It was a lie. It was a lie. There is a little bit more hermeneutics where that is concerned. I must admit that's the reason why I asked that question.
Andre,
Yeah.
not to digress, but I believe her faith was in putting her confidence in total strangers, believing that they will honor their word and save her if she saves
That is
them.
an argument. That's the argument. What was the faith? Was the lie the faith, or what she did, or what she did? Right. Right. That's right. That's why I asked that question. Just saying. Okay. But great. I love this. Excellent. I know it is wrong to steal, but I can't take the embarrassment of begging. How do we say this in our colloquial term? How do we say it in our nah, I'm about to embarrass me. I'm rather a thief. All right. And feel justified to do the same. That's the thing. And feel justified to do so. Look at this other one. Wow, look at the time. Look how hurry up here now. I know it's wrong to assume, but I still prefer to follow my mind. That's the overthinking one too. I know it's wrong to fornicate, but I don't want any pussy in a bag. Definitely. A matter of fact, if what it would seem, and I've not done the study, but my informal associations with folks who want to get married, and I use the word informal. I mean, 90.9% of them would have, decide that they're going to look into the bag first. Oh gosh, I cracked me up. I'm sorry. It's not funny. But yeah, I hope you get what I mean. Most person says, I am going to look in the bag first. I don't know if I'm the only one find that funny. But anyway.
But you know what I'm thinking, Andre,
Yes.
with what is going on, and depending on the society that you are in, when I think of these stories, and I don't know how true some of them are, and I think some of them are really true though. When you have these trans people, who have decided to make that change, and when somebody on his wedding night finds out just before you want to consummate a marriage, and then you find out something else. I mean, how I have the stories go where they either kill the person, or they are so devastated that they either kill themselves or something. I mean, it's not a far-fetched thing for them to want to get to know what is in the bag first. I'm not saying that it is, for us as Christians, it is right. But I mean, with what is going on these days, I mean, people are getting very scared because you just don't know, who is who anymore.
Well, I mean, we can take each other to the doctor too.
Well, yes, there is that too.
Doctor can tell. That's fine.
Well, yes, that's a solution.
Right. Let's look at some others here, because the time is going. Sorry. I still have a whole lot more to cover. I know I need to learn to be disciplined, but nobody's perfect. How often have we used that one to justify that I am not going to do better? Do we agree that we are all kind of guilty of this one here? We use that term to kind of say, okay,
yes,
then.
I would, because I fall into that category at times.
Or I'm only human. What they expect?
Oh, see, there's that one coming up, by the way. I know I need to learn to be loving, but I don't want anyone to take me for a fool. So I close away my heart. I'm not going to be naive. Yeah, once bitten, twice shy. I know I need to learn to share, but who's going to give to me? Yeah, well, I'm tired of people take disadvantage of me. I know I need to learn to forgive, but once bitten, twice shy, you know. Yeah, I mean, is my heart feeling it? Look what when I forgive. See what happened? See, maybe a lot of times folks don't recognize that forgiveness does not mean that you don't establish, you don't learn. You can forgive, but you can learn to, you can learn going forward. You can change your expectations, and not make yourself vulnerable as best as possible. At least not with this person necessarily. It doesn't mean that you become tight-fisted, where you said, okay, since this person hurt me, then everybody wicked. Everybody going to hurt me too. Okay? No. But you just be on a case by case. I'm talking about not broad brush it, but how you treat with this person. The Bible said, bring forth fruits worthy of repentance. So what is that the person is doing that will make you feel safe going forward? Okay. Good stuff. Excellent. Now, we look at this, some others here. Do I have some more? Yes. I know I need to learn to do the right thing, but I'm only human. I think Caroline mentioned that earlier. I know I need to learn to go to church, but a pure hypocrite in a church. I know the value of emotional intelligence, but I cannot help the way I am feeling. Wow. I cannot help the way I'm feeling. So we allow our feelings to regulate and dictate what we must do, should do, can do. So if a feeling says nope, then feeling takes precedence. And so cognitive dissonance continues to reign. So what happens if a person fails to resolve it? Well, this is what can happen. Let me get some readers again, please. The internal
discomfort and tension of cognitive dissonance could definitely contribute to stress and unhappiness.
The what kind of discomfort?
Stress and unhappiness.
Yes, the internal discomfort. Yeah, right. When you have that because you're struggling on the inside, because you know what the right thing to do is, you know what your value system is shouting at you to do, and yet it's not going to manifest itself because the situation, this is where you have situational ethics almost. Your situation says, I must therefore do something differently. Because you believe that doing something differently will save you from your beliefs. If you do something differently, it will do what? Save you from your beliefs. But continue reading. People
who experience dissonance or conflict but have no way to resolve it may also feel powerless and guilty, or maybe even worse, they may feel like a hypocrite.
Wow. Continue. Go ahead. As a result
of such hypocrisy, they become withdrawn, depressed, and therefore concede to the person they hate. Wow.
See to the person they hate. I said, well, boy, too many times, because they make so much mistake, and too many times their actions goes against what they believe they should do, then they just almost acquiesce to it and just say, something, it look like me a hypocrite, yeah. Look like me a thief, yeah. It look like me's a fornicator, yeah. Look at me's a liar, yeah. It look like. And so they just accept this new person that they really don't like. It look like, and it's always whomever they say it look like I am, is always something or somebody that, believe you me, that imposter that really and truly they, they, they cannot harmonize with it. They really cannot harmonize with it. So they say, well, you know, to the extent that if somebody should say, hey, thief, how you doing, thief? Hi, liar. Hello, fornicator. Hello, adulterer. Hello. And call them by the name that they don't, that thing that they say, you're judging me, you wicked. Judging me, wicked? Is it a judgment? That's a question. Is it really a judgment?
No, it's not, because that's you're displaying that particular behavior.
But we don't want anybody to call it out not true. And so we're going to go to a church that make we feel good in our sin. What the Bible call it? Providing itching ears. Wow. So finish your reading, please. How can I
even begin to have any kind of meaningful relationship with anyone, knowing fully that I am an imposter? Oh, wow.
So we're talking about failing to resolve it. Now, we're going somewhere with this. Our time going. Here is the other side of recognizing cognitive dissonance. Let me get another reader. Or same. It can.
It can also be a tool for personal and social change. How so? By drawing a person's attention to the dissonance between their behavior and their values. This can increase their awareness of the inconsistency and therefore empower them to act.
Okay, may I speak? Who is this? Avera? Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Avria.
Avria. Sorry, Avria. Now, Avria, how do you have this conversation with that person?
Well, it's really
How
about
do you have the conversation, Avria, with this person? We're looking at the other side, don't you? So you're trying to help them to recognize that, okay, I'm having this challenge. What can I do? How do you have the conversation with them without letting them feel like you're judging them?
I guess you can try to have them come up with the issues that they think need to be changed. The things that they don't like about themselves. Thinking about maybe the framework of their thoughts and how it's affecting their behaviors.
Wow. So they are calling it out themselves and also possibly coming up with solutions as to how to manage it. But at least they were the ones who identified the dissonance.
Right.
Carry on, Avria. Carry on. Wow. Any other comments on that, please? Anybody else? How can you bring this to their attention without letting them feel like you're judging them? But you're not a thief. You're not a thief. So what? Move them. So what? Someone mustn't call you a thief. Action speak loud and word.
I'm thinking probably help cause them to think about it from another person's perspective, like was done with David, the prophet and David. So sometimes when we look at things, if somebody else is doing it, we might have a different perspective than when we are doing. When we are doing it, we feel like we're being accused and judged. And so if we can see it from another perspective, then we say, oh, so I do something wrong.
Excellent point. That's an excellent way to bring it to their attention. Yeah. Role play. Excellent. You know, say, hey, suppose somebody tell them in the form of a story. Suppose somebody and so on, and he said, what, that person wicked? And say, wow, so what is the difference with what is happening with you? So, oh, wait, me wicked then? I'm sorry, good, but good stuff. Excellent, 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 excellent. Now,
Maybe
down.
you had a personal experience similar to that, and you could share it with them. They wouldn't feel judged if you do that.
Thumbs up on that one there too. Excellent, excellent. I have something in the chat here. Quick, let me see what it says. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So how to resolve cognitive dissonance? Here we go. What we have been waiting for. Let's come up with some solution. Let me get another reader. First thing we have to look to do, we're talking about to resolve cognitive dissonance, a person can aim to ensure that their actions are consistent with their values or vice versa. A person can achieve this by, first and foremost, we're going to give you three things, but the first thing is to change their actions, change our actions, change my actions. Okay. How do I do that? Let me get a reader.
This involves changing behavior so it matches a person's beliefs. Where a full change is not possible, a person could make compromises. For instance, a person who cares about their health but works for a company that sells junk food, that person can start bringing lunch from home if they cannot leave their job.
All righty, excellent. Now watch this. What is my point? Stay with me, Julia. What is my point here is that sometimes, how we encourage people into action, we feel like it must happen now. And if they're not prepared to change their actions right now, then we say, you're not ready for change yet, man. You're not ready for change, man. Ah, man. You don't mean nothing to you yet, man. You don't reach rock bottom yet. When you hit rock bottom, then come talk to me. As against folks, I am saying here, what we can also say to folks is that, listen, we understand how, this can be gradual. And here's how you can make it gradual in your life. So you can give them options rather than dump it on them to change here and now. And we justify whether or not it looked like a proper change has taken place. So we say, yeah, man, see, there you stop. Very, very good. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, that's how we speak. We say, just stop, just stop. What's so hard in doing that? Just stop. That's how we talk to people. And if they don't, then it's ramp them a ramp. You're not ready for change yet, man. You're getting reap where you sow. Just stop. What's wrong in stopping? You need to be disciplined. You don't have any discipline. Okay. But I'm just saying, but if you can help them to and give them options on how to not only change, but how change can be done incrementally, then that, I believe, is a better way rather than coming down too hard on them to see it black or white. Any comments on that?
Well, this is advice you could take for ourselves, our own self, when we're in the pickle,
Very good too. Here's another one. We're talking about how to resolve it. 3 are given. Here's the second one. Changing their thoughts. Let me get another reader. If a person
often behaves in a way that contradicts their beliefs, they may question how important that belief is or find that they no longer believe it. Alternatively, they might add new beliefs that bring their actions closer to their thinking.
Excellent. And that is what is suggested here. That maybe you just need to change what you believe. Some folks, is it folks, just decide that, listen, them a hold on to this belief, come high, come low. No matter how unrealistic this belief is, no matter how unrealistic this belief is. And if you ever try to introduce, they feel like you're trying to get them to what? Start with C. Compromise. Very, very good. I don't know who said that, but you deserve a big ticky. Compromise. Feel like you're trying to get them to compromise. And you say, no. Well, I'm going to die with my belief. And don't get me wrong, there are some things that is true. You know, you better hold to it till the day you die. Don't get me wrong, yes. But I'm just saying to you that one way how we can, we're talking about resolving cognitive dissonance. The first one we say is what change of action could look like. And we're saying incrementally. And also offer some thoughts as to how that can be done. Second, we're saying change your thought process. Change what you believe about that you know, if you believe that once I am married, it means that I won't have any problems whatsoever. Well, good luck. I remember saying that to somebody. I don't remember when it was earlier this week. You know, they were telling me about something, and they said, "How would I deal with that?" You know, and I said, "Good luck." And I said, "Huh?" I said, "That's all." Yeah, I said, "Good luck." I didn't have anything else because they were so rooted in what they believe. I thought, listen, if you don't change that belief system, you're going to set up yourself for pain. You know, and it didn't have anything to do with marriage. It was something altogether different. But I just said, good luck, because they were not prepared to change their belief, and that's all I'm saying. If you change that belief, then it will bring you close. Then the action, it's easier for you to execute the action based upon that new belief. But if you have a belief, especially if that belief is draconian, then you best believe that you better don't make any mistake, or anyone should make any mistake for that matter. Because you already say, do or die. And I've found that a lot of folks, and hear me out on this one now, because we are so hard and fast on some things, that even when we have fallen short of that belief system, we come down so hard on ourselves, we can't face anybody. You know, and so guilt just eat away at us, and we feel immobilized and can't function, because how could I do something like that? I'm so disappointed in myself. And so forgiving yourself is not an option. And so rather than face, people and said, hey, I made a mistake, and what have you, and here's what I'm going to do, and these are the steps that I'm prepared to put in place, and I need to change what I believe. No, we're going to die with it, and that's not even overreach where that statement is concerned. Here's the third one. Changing our perception of the action. Let me get another reader. Soon finish.
If a person cannot or does not want to change the behavior or beliefs that cause dissonance, they may view the behavior differently instead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In other words, I'm not going to come down too hard on myself because of my behavior, since I have no choice but to behave this way.
Go ahead. They can do what? Okay, let me see. Okay. There's a private chat that I don't know. But, so the perception of the action. Again, don't want to change the behavior or the belief. What can you do? You can look at the behavior differently. You can say, well, okay then. Suppose you hold hard and fast and say, I'm not going to change this belief. Then change the behavior. Then say, well, okay, then clearly this belief that I have, my behavior, I have to change how I approach this belief system that I have, this concept that I believe into. I have to change how it is manifested in my life and living. What can I do? If I continue to push it, look at what it is doing to me and my relationship with others for that matter. Man mustn't do this and man mustn't do that. I believe that as a man must never do this. And so and because I believe that strongly as a man, the opportunity comes now where you must do something. And no, so I believe some man must think that. I believe some man must do housework. And I believe that. So guess what happened? Because you don't believe that and you strongly, I never see my father do no work in the house. Right? I never see my grandfather. I never grew up to see that. So we justify how we were nurtured. And since we never see it from our parents and our grandparents and the way we were nurtured, then we hold fast to such a belief. And guess what happened? Then you look into the, and then you have 4 boys and 1 girl. And the 1 girl will wash, cook, and clean. And the boy them, she even a wash, cook, and clean for the boy picking them too. Because of what we believe and hold firm and fast about that belief system. And as a result of that, now look at the harm that we even do to our relationships and our families because of what we hold firm to. When maybe we can just change the action. We can just do what, folks? Just change the action. Okay. This is, in a nutshell, cognitive dissonance, as I said earlier, is not a mental condition. It's a person does not necessarily need treatment for it. However, if a person finds that they have difficulty stopping a behavior or thinking pattern that is causing them distress, they can seek support from a qualified healthcare professional such as a primary care doctor or a therapist. A person may wish to consider reaching out to a professional rather, if 1, they have an addiction, 2, their behavior causes problems at work, at school, or in relationships, 3, they feel stressed, anxious, or depressed, and finally, they feel overwhelmingly guilt or shame. If you find that you're suffering from these things, please feel free to contact somebody like me. And with that, I want to thank you so very much for your participation and attending, basically. I see a raised hand. Let me get to that raised hand. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, really, really compelling for me. A different perspective. So I came to cognitive dissonance from a marketing perspective, right? Where the argument is this: when you make a big choice, there is the two dynamics. Let us use a purchase, right? So we walk into a store and we're gonna buy shirts or whatever, a dress. Let us use the ladies' one, a dress. So you decide, okay, fine, there's a choice there, and you buy it. When you're going home, I should have really buy one, and you return it. So returned goods, as you can know, a lot of stuff goes back. And so one of the things that, from a marketing perspective, you are told is to make sure that you do everything to let the person think that this is the right choice. Yeah. And that is the thing where you have, for example, after sales service, where they call you up and say, yeah, man, are you enjoying the thing? And make sure, so that the person feels that the choice that they have made is the best choice, because they know that there are going to be noises in your head. All right. Let me tell you, I'm not going to take long. I'm sorry. Let me just share this. One of the things then that we do is that we return. So my first disappointment is that we don't have the people that are giving the after sales service to say, well, hey, yes, this was the right choice. Yeah. So when we have our conflict, there's nobody to come to say, well, either, yes, it's okay for you, you have an understanding with your spouse, so therefore, you're sharing the things. Maybe you're not sharing it in the particular way, but it's okay, you can live, whatever. So we don't have anybody to come in, and so we are actually living with the conflict, the dissonance in our minds. Whereas we can just go back and carry the things and say, boy, I don't like the shoe, I change my mind. Or I can decide that I want my deposit, I don't want to buy the house anymore. That is not available to us psychologically. We don't have that out and we can just get away from the thing. Sometimes though, when it's really bad, and that's a rationale I could see, for example, why people would just leave the church. Because I can't come here every week and hear this thing, and I'm not living that. And so I would just don't want to hear it. So those are some of the things that I find that I, really are opening up my mind to using it in terms of living and not just in a marketing point of view. That we are saying, okay, fine, you buy something, and there's going to be a confusion or whatever, doubts in your mind, and you need to really make sure that you take care of that doubt. We don't have that avenue except to come to you, for example. But it's good to have the understanding so that as we are going through, we can know that virtually in everything that we do, there's going to be some level of dissonance. And if we can call it out, recognize it, and either, as you say, change, do whatever it is that we want to do, change the actions, change the belief. Those are things. So I'm really grateful for it. Right? Thank you.
Go ahead and close out. But thank you all for being here, for participating. Really and truly, next month all being well, but before we reach next month, we want you to come out. But Brother Smith will give you that information. But last Saturday of the month, we have our grief. So please, if you can participate with the last Saturday or share it, we'd love to have you on to do that. Last week, was it last Saturday?
Last Saturday anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the same Zoom link, right? Same Zoom
link, yes. So
same
please.
same password, everything. All right.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, that's it. So thank you again. Another powerful session. I hope you have benefited from this as usual. Okay, and let us see if there are some messages there. Excellent. Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, someone is asking about the link. It's the same 689, whatever, 511-348 and the 77123. As it's here at the bottom of the thing. If you can maybe just take a image of the screen. I promise that at some point in time, when I change and have a QR code and thing, so you can actually just get the link right away. But also to share with you that we worship, as I say, on Sundays at 9 a.m. at 77 Red Hills Road. We'd love to see you. And we have interesting, informative Bible classes on Sunday immediately after worship, and also on Tuesdays at 6:30 using the same link. If for some reason you can't join us physically in the building, the worship and Bible classes are actually on Zoom as well as on YouTube, Simply Christians JA. So we're streaming live there. Thank you. And if you have got value from this, which I hope you have, remember, we're back here first Saturday next month, and we'll be back here for our grief therapy sessions. So you might say, and I haven't lost anybody recently, but let me tell you something about the grief therapy. It's very useful. I don't know if you're like me, but when I have to deal with somebody who has experienced a loss, I have no idea what to say. I feel so uncomfortable. And so these sessions actually help you how to work with people who are going through grief. And you can actually, know how to go about it, what to say, what not to say. Yeah. So thank you again, and may God bless you.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Pleasure.